Swaminiji, I have a generic question, but because I love the way you explain things, I was wondering if you could give some insight into karma yoga, which is something that's so present here in this ashram. As a karma yogi myself, I would love to hear your thoughts.
Karma yoga, unfortunately, is often misunderstood as work without pay. You go work and you don't get paid. That is supposed to be karma yoga. That cannot be, as we know, further from the truth. To understand karma yoga, we look at the word, the Sanskrit compound karma yoga. Karma eva yoga karma yoga. Yoga means a committed lifestyle, and karma itself is the committed lifestyle. That is what is karma yoga. And it has some very beautiful components that we can actually list. Before embarking on karma yoga, the karma yogi wannabe, the one who wants to be the karma yogi, wants something else in life rather than the day in, day out, daily grind. What is it that they want? They want some kind of a spiritual growth. They want to get to know a better sense. They want to get to know themselves better, at least in the relative, if not absolute sense. They want to lead a life that is different from the run-of-mill life of the everyday, daily grind. They want to better themselves. They want to improve a few things in life. This is the motivation often for karma yoga. They want to do something different. What is it that's different? At home also you wash the dishes. Here also you come and wash the dishes. What's the difference? There is a very big difference. There is, in a way, a broadening of the work, number one. And number two, doing it for others. You may do it also for yourself, but you do it for others in addition to yourself. That's the second difference. And the third difference is that if I'm a karma yogi, I'm not interested in karma phala. The result of action is not my outcome. I'm not interested in the outcome. In other words, I'm not going to an ashram to wash dishes so that everybody will give me the Karma Yogi of the Year award. That's not the motivation. Okay, if not everybody, at least a few people will tell me, oh, thank you for washing the dishes. They are spick, span, and sparkly. No one else has washed dishes like you ever before. That also is not the motivation. If it is, it no longer should be. And this is, so then what is the motivation? The motivation is to grow out of needing this validation. The motivation is to grow from a being that is so centered on the self in a very shallow sort of way, and so preoccupied, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, and I'm not getting this, I don't have that, to grow to somebody who is much more aware, much more alert, and much more accommodating of a whole lot of other people's needs, wants, and desires. That itself is a growth. And in an ashram, you can't tell people, why do you eat like a slob? Look at the other person's plate, so clean, and look at you. Why are you eating like this? Do you understand how hard it is for me to wash? You can say that to the significant other, who will then become other, no longer significant. But you certainly can't say it in a group setting. You have to swallow the discontent. You swallow the pill of discontent and continue to wash. As you continue to wash, you find that the discontent is what is washed off. Yes, this is because you're not just living for yourself. This is something, there is a kind of a way in which you are responsible. You are accountable. If you don't show up in your life, in your house, nothing happens, or at least it looks like nothing will happen. But here, if you don't show up for a session where you have an important work, then other people are affected. And so it also builds self esteem. I matter. What I do makes a difference. It helps with the self confidence, it helps with self esteem. Now we can go, after understanding the motivations and the phala of Karma Yoga, we can go now to see what is Karma Yoga itself, what are its components. So in Karma Yoga, the first thing we do is bring in Ishvara. There is no Nirishwara Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga without the awareness of Ishvara cannot, does not, will not exist. Why do you have to bring Ishvara? I was fine by myself without this Ishvara. Because the Karma Yoga helps me to see that everything is happening in its own way and own time, and I am not really the doer. The Karma Yoga helps me to give up the addiction to doership. So, therefore, what do I do? So, therefore, I bring in Ishvara. And when I bring in Ishvara, something magical happens. I tell Ishvara, you are the one who is the doer. I'm just a proxy. And if I can't quite manage that, I say, you are the proxy doer. Come on, come along. Anywhere I have to do that. Then, if Ishvara is the doer, then where is the result of action coming from? Ishvara. I am not manufacturing the results of action. The results of action are what? Prasada. No English translation. You can say prasada, that's all. Yeah, at the most. No English translation. I mean, you can make up stuff. You can say glad, acceptance, this, that. It doesn't quite cut it. Prasada. Prasada buddhya svikuru. Take everything that comes in a spirit of glad acceptance. That is prasada. We have the same thing in all religions. So if in the Christian tradition, you go to any kind of mass or anything like that, and then they say there is prasada at the end. They say this is body of Christ. They don't say this is a piece of bread. No, this body of Christ, it's sacred. So blood of Christ. This is not any old wine. This is blood of Christ. This is body of Christ. And very reverentially you take it. You don't fight with the priest. This one got a bigger piece of bread, and that one got a bigger sip of wine. You don't fight. You say, okay, this is what came to me, and I take it gratefully and gracefully. Why do I do that? I do that because of what it's called. It's called communion, oneness. Because of that, I take it, I receive it in a spirit of this is what I deserve. And this becomes a metaphor for life. Because from this example, we see that God doesn't come just in a plate after the Mass or after the puja. God comes in many, many, many forms, in the forms that we don't even see, we don't even know. So anything that comes, the whole temple, church, synagogue metaphor tells us that we have to be ready to receive whatever comes. Whatever comes is Bhagavan, is Ishvara, and I cannot turn my face and say, I don't like you in this form. So this way I grow to invite Ishvara into my life and grow out of my strong preferences and strong prejudices. Because before I came into a karma yoga setting, I used to do things based on my preferences and prejudices. If I didn't like something, I would avoid it. If I didn't like the person, I would avoid them totally. If I went jogging and found the same annoying person, I would change my route. But you come to the ashram and then you see the same people day in, day out. And because this is how karma works, the most annoying person is always in your face, 24/7. What do? You smile. In fact, you laugh. You say, of course, you are right here. You are trying to get away from the person, and the person says, can I sit next to you with my plate? Prasada buddhi, the attitude of prasada, is saying yes to life. Because from age 2 to age 92, age 2, what is the first things the children learn? No! Shall I tie your shoes for you? No! Drink your milk? No! Come on, we have to get ready for school? No! Even at 92? No! 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 Resistance. The more there is no in my life, the more sorrow there is, the more pain there is. Because I have barricaded myself. Every no is a bar on an invisible cage which threatens to imprison me. So, if I want to take down this prison, I have to start participating. Especially, it's easy to participate when everything is going well. When I am, quote unquote, having a good day. I never understood that wish, have a day is the same every day. But in America, have a good day, have a nice day. What does that blessing mean? Each one says that to the other. What does that mean? It simply means, may the day be filled with all your preferences and prejudices. May all of them get fulfilled. Yeah. From the Vedanta standpoint, that is neither advisable nor possible. Yeah. Really. So, the no has to drop. And when the no drops, there is a growth. I grow beyond this false cage, false imprisonment. Who made the bars of the cage? Me. False imprisonment, and then I am exonerated. After so many years of being falsely imprisoned, I am freed. There is, what is that? Innocence Project. There is one Innocence Project that takes up the case of people who have been incarcerated for decades, wrongly incarcerated because of racism, because of so many things, wrongly incarcerated, because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. But they did not kill anybody, but still they find themselves in a cage. And therefore, and what does the Innocence Project do? It frees them. And here, my innocence about being like a baby in the universe, spontaneous, laughing, smiling, ready to trust, frees me from my self made prison. And Karma Yoga has a big role to play in that. a very, very big role to play in that. We cannot even imagine the transformations that can take place if I allow it. So in Karma Yoga, I can't say no because this is what I signed up for. I said I'm going to be a Karma Yogi in the ashram and I have come here. So today I might be on dishwashing duty. Tomorrow they will dish out something else. So I have to be ready for that. I'm ready for whatever there is to do. So I grow from being a person who does as one likes to a person who grows to like whatever there is to do. And that is a way of saying yes to life. And then finally, in Karma Yoga, I learned that work itself is a form of worship. I may not be into puja. Many people are not into pujas. Some people, want a puja for breakfast and a puja for dinner, and then they are happy. But some people say, I'm pujad out. I don't want puja particularly. The work itself is a puja. Because there is Ishvara, the presence of Ishvara in it. Because there is Ishvara, I am doing the right thing. There is a chair for you here, come. So, because there is puja, spirit of puja, I am doing the right thing. Because there is because it is so many people are benefiting from them, therefore it is worshipful. And I do it worshipfully, meaning my attitude towards what needs to be done changes from a kind of a, meh, complaining, grumbling person to something that is happy. And this is very important for any kind of kitchen duty, because if I chop the vegetables, imagining that each chop is somebody's head, it will have a different effect on the person eating it. Take that, take that, take that, take that. As opposed to, well, here I am. What a nice looking carrot. It becomes carrotopasana, carrot meditation. Oh, it needs to be peeled before it's cut. How appealing. Let us peel it. And then what? And then I cut it. Then I just say, oh, look how neatly I have cut. There is a kind of a self satisfaction. Like I have done the best. And then when it is adorning a salad, and even though people may not express it, they will look at everything so uniform and feel very happy. If it's going to go into a soup or a stew, so be it. Then also it will give people not only happiness, but nourishment. And just the thought of that nourishes me. This is how slowly the transformation takes place. Doesn't happen in a day or two, sometimes not even in a month or two. So one does this until one changes the attitude with which the action is done. And I will conclude this answer with a very sweet story that happened a few years back. A family that I know in Virginia, they had, I mean, now he's 15, but this was when this boy was 3 years old. The grandma, who also lives in the family, the grandma told the child, come on, put your shoes away. No, I don't feel like it. Well, it's not you doing it. It's Krishna putting your shoes away. Come on, Krishna is putting your shoes away. This is how the boy grew up. Krishna is doing this. Krishna is putting my shoes away. Krishna is cleaning my room. Krishna is doing this for me. Krishna is eating my vegetables. The boy did not like his vegetables. And Krishna is doing this and that. This is how he grew up. And very fortunate. And then one day, the grandma was very, very tired because she had to cook for a huge temple functions, and she was one of the volunteers at the Hindu temple there. And so there was a big festival. So she had to make 565 puris. Puris are flat breads that are fried, and you have to knead the dough in a certain way, you have to roll it out in a certain way, the temperature of the oil should be a certain way, it had to be fried. It's very labor intensive. So she made 500 plus of these puris, and she was exhausted. And then she called up a friend, and she was saying, "Oh my God, 3 days, it was so tiring, so many puris. I have fried and I'm exhausted." And the little child said, "Why are you tired, Grandma? I thought Krishna made the puris." Wisdom from the mouths of the young. They listen, they take everything to heart. So, this is how it is. So, so when I approach my life with the Spirit, there is not that nagging mental exhaustion. There is no more mental exhaustion. Physically, they may be exhausted. And my own teacher, as he grew older, weaker bodily, he was on dialysis. He had 103 at least things wrong with him. He used to be wheeled in a kind of a half reclining wheelchair towards the end of his day, but he did not stop teaching. He would be wheeled into the hall, the lecture hall. He would be like this, the mic would all this thing, and he would start talking. And then the medications and everything was too much, would nod off. Sometimes it would be 5 minutes, sometimes it would be 25 minutes. And then he would wake up and pick up exactly where he left off. and then, and talking about that, he said one day, he told me, because I had gone to see him at this time. So, and I said, I'm looking forward to the teachings. He said, well, be prepared for 25-minute unplanned meditation. So, body is going, body is tired. I am not tired, the body is tired. And if the body is tired, the body will do what it needs to do. It needed to check out, the mind needed to check out, it checked out, checked back in. And then one time he slept the whole hour after 5 minutes of talk. And then he said, "See you next time," or not, as he was being wheeled outside. And imagine somebody else in his place. "Oh, how could I sleep in class? I shouldn't have done that. I'm the teacher. There is so much self consciousness. Oh, what's happening to me?" Well, this is what happens when the kidneys are in a difficult situation, when the health is difficult, when the heart is gone, when there is raging diabetes. This is what the body does. But that I was so intact, and he still continued to see people till the final moment. He was still seeing people, greeting people. And then he said, "I'll stop taking dialysis because this is not going anywhere." This is Swamiji, "One more dialysis because I have my relatives coming over there on the train." And he would say, "Okay." And then he would say, "Okay, no more now, all right? Okay, okay." Then the news would come that the Prime Minister wants to see him. And so, okay, 2 more dialyses because, he has to be in shape for the Prime Minister. And then somebody said, "Oh, we haven't seen you in 3 years. And we have taken a 3-day train from Rameshwaram, which is near the southern tip of India, all the way to Rishikesh, which is in the Himalayas. And the train takes 3.5 days." And so he said, "All right, one more dialysis." He just lived for the people. He could have said, "It's my life. I want to end it now. Who are you?" He didn't say that. This is the culmination of Karma Yoga. The culmination of Karma Yoga is Atma Jnanam. It makes you have the readiness to study this. The desire to study comes from the Karma Yoga, and the desire to be leading this kind of a life of cheerfulness. It's very, very cheerful life comes from Karma Yoga. I have to go outside of my comfort zone and be comfortably uncomfortable. and learn to give. And when I do that, there is an inward transformation. And Karma Yoga is considered successful when I manage, when I'm able to have equanimity. Equanimity is pertaining the acceptance of the results of action that come. This is, I mentioned this before, how to be in glad acceptance, because the outcome I don't know. Terrible things can come as a result of the action. How to be in glad acceptance. Thankfully, every action has only 4 different kinds of outcomes. You just have to think of 4 things and manage them. What are they? The outcome is exactly in keeping with my expectation. Scenario number 1. I cross the road in order to catch the bus. And it happens exactly like that. I cross the road, and then what? I catch the bus. Finished. Scenario number 2, the outcome is better than my expectation. I cross the road on a hot day, and a friend comes in her air-conditioned car. Where are you going? I'll drop you. Before that, you know what? I'll take you out for coffee. Very nice. Outcome exceeds my expectation. Wow, fantastic. Scenario number 3. What is that? Outcome is less than my expectation. I crossed the road, missed the bus. Why did I miss the bus? Because buses in India are like that. They have one fellow called the conductor, whose job it is to stand in the back of the bus and ring the bell. And the driver obeys the bell. 1 bell means stop, 2 bells means leave, move. So the conductor sees you coming and running for your life to catch this bus. He makes eye contact with you and pulls the bell twice. Why? Because he can. And the bus goes away just as you are about to enter it. This happens in India all the time. Story of everybody's life. Missed boat, missed bus, missed opportunities, missed chances. Scenario number 4. I was crossing the road, ... What happened? Nothing so violent. This is a Vedanta Q&A. I looked to the left. Nothing. I was a good citizen. I looked to the left. I looked to the right. And the known variables I could control. But there are many hidden variables. And the hidden variable here happened to be a banana peel which was on the road, which I didn't look down. I was busy looking to the left and looking to the right. And then what happened? I got an unplanned skating lesson, went down, woke up asking fundamental spiritual questions. Why am I here? Where am I? Who am I? That is if one has a concussion. Then you ask, who am I? And then so you see, the first 2, it is ironically that need to be managed. If I don't hit the ceiling when things go my way or exceed my expectations, the other 2 are easy to manage. I say, okay, today it's not my day. Today things are not going my way, and it's okay. I give myself a hug and move on. So Karma Yoga teaches me to align my expectations with the outcome and grows me up so that I can accept whatever comes with equanimity. Oh, but that's so fatalistic. Why can't I change? Change. Why can't I change my job? Change the job. What happens? Different boss, but same control issues. Why can't I change the spouse? Change the spouse. What happens? Yes, more spouse. Actually, one lady sent me a photo. She sent me a photo because she said that she and her husband celebrated retirement. So she wanted to show me a T-shirt that she had printed for herself, and so she wore that what is that T-shirt to the retirement party. Retirement is dot dot dot. In the back, it said half the money and twice the husband at home. Too much of the husband at home because she was not used to him hanging around so much. So, so I learned, I just grow. It's, uh, all said and done, it's not worth it. We have to really choose our battles. All these small, chota means small. These small things. Why did you do this? Why did you not do this? It's just like, one of those, what are they called? They come on the fruit. Yeah, gnat, yes. Gnat. Okay, it's very annoying for oneself. Not to speak of the other person. Just let go. Oh, but they are winning the argument and they are wrong. You know that, right? Yeah, you know that they are wrong. You know that you are right. Okay, let them win the argument. Oh, but something doesn't seem right about it. Why not? You be in full force and full self confidence mode. I know who I am, and I happen to know 2 plus 2 is 4. But the person in front of you is arguing that it is 7. Okay. Because what's the point in arguing? Correct? This also I learned from my guru. He would have all these interfaith dialogues and everything. And one born again, minister came to see him, and he said, what you are saying is wrong. And he said, you will go to hell. You will not be, you will definitely go to hell, Swamiji was told by him. And Swamiji said, it's okay, we're just having a theological discussion. So he said, okay, we'll just give, I won't make any personal comments. We are having a theological discussion. So the world is 3,000 years old. And Swamiji said, well, some of our buildings are 3,000 years old. So, and then, he said, no, the world is 3,000 years old. And Swamiji tried to pipe in and say, there is such a thing called carbon dating, and then there is dinosaur bones and dinosaur fossils and dinosaur eggs that have been excavated, and they are thousands and thousands and thousands of years old. Don't you think? And he says, the minister said, Swami, yes? Do you believe that God is almighty? Yes. Do you believe that God is all knowing? Yes, definitely. Swami, don't you think that God, after making the world 3,000 years ago, could have put a few fossilized bones and eggs to confuse the people? And Swamiji said, how will you have your tea? With cream, with sugar, without cream, without sugar, calf or decaf? He let him win the argument. It's okay. It's okay. And same thing we do in our homes. Karma yoga begins at home. It's like all this need, like no need. When we pray, let there be peace on earth. How can there be peace on earth if I'm arguing all the time? Yeah. Big topic, long answer. We can even make it a one question Q&A. I can go on and on, but I'll stop here.
But I actually have a follow-up question.
See? Yeah. Part B.
So, I mean, karma yoga can be, in the kitchen chopping vegetables. But if I go out into the world and I go and I uplift the spirit of other people, isn't that seva?
Yeah, of course it is seva. It is seva for you. Not for them. It's seva for the uplifter. Often we think that we are uplifting, but we uplift in order to be uplifted. It is seva for you. When you do seva, you are the one that's helped. When you do karma yoga, you are the one that's helped. But in the beginning, we allow ourselves to think that we are making a big change. We allow ourselves to think, I am the most transformative agent. We allow ourselves to think that because otherwise we would not begin anything. So in the beginning, it's okay, we think that. And sometimes we don't know better, we think that. We say, I am helping so many people. I'm helping them get employment. I'm changing their lives directly or indirectly. I am, these things, trendy things these days. I'm a YouTube influencer. I asked somebody a simple question, what do you do? I'm a YouTube influencer. I said, okay, say no more. Yeah, it said everything. So you see, there is agency, influencer, and I am the doer, and I am the agent of change. I am the changer. I am the mover. I am the shaker. And then very soon I realized, very soon, even the shaker needs to be shaken up sometimes. Even the mover stops moving sometimes, out of sorrow, out of pain, out of so many reasons. And the person who is doing seva to others also needs seva very quickly. So here karma yoga is an ingenious way of doing seva, so to speak, but really helping ourselves. We help ourselves because simple reason. So supposing you ask the person uplifting others, let's say they are giving employment, they are giving money, they have a charitable foundation, or they have a organization, they are like what are those people, doctors without frontiers or whatever it is, borders, doctors without borders, they go into rural areas and help. Are they not making a difference? Of course they are making a difference. That's not the question here. But unless and until they were being transformed, they would not be doing this. Nobody does this without having something come back for them. So if you tell somebody who is a philanthropist who does a lot for people, if you ask them, really, those people who are self-aware, if you ask them, why are you doing it? Because I am transformed. They will say that. I have seen interviews like that with people who say, it's making a difference to me. I am transformed. Why are you transformed? Because really speaking, I have enough and I don't want to see another one in want. I don't want to see another one in pain. That is the human nature. I am empathetic. I pick up on people's pain and I will do whatever it is to eradicate that pain. So therefore, it is not as altruistic as it sounds. I am not helping anybody. When the attitude changes, actually, they are giving me an opportunity, they are serving me. When I see that, then along with that humility comes a lot, and that understanding comes a great amount of growth. It's really beautiful. Part C. Yeah.
And just related to that, you were saying that the karma yogi has a committed lifestyle.
Yes.
In the morning, you were talking about that the Shrotriya.
Shrotriya, yes.
And then you were also talking about the Brahmanista.
Brahmanista, yes.
How are they related? What the definitions?
Every Brahmanistha need not be a Shrotriya. like that. Brahmanistha means who knows the truth of the self, but they may not know how to communicate it. They may not know how to pass it on. They may not have had a traditional upbringing in the sense of a teaching. They're not exposed to the teaching methodology of how to communicate that. They may know it and enjoy it for themselves. And if you go and sit with them, it's wonderful and calm, because this is a person who is a non wanting person. How lovely it is to sit with a non wanting person, really. Because everybody else that you sit with, they are what? Oh, something, give me, give me, give me. Here is a person who doesn't want anything. It's really lovely to sit with that person, even though they don't know how to teach. But in order to study this, and also you cannot tell who is a Brahmanishtha, who is not, you cannot tell. So you seek out a Shrotriya. That is corroborated. You can Google the person, you can Google the teacher. And you must Google the teacher, yes. And then there is actually one website with all the, what is that? Fraudulent people who are passing off as gurus. I forgot that. Yeah. Somebody showed me that website. I said, wow, I didn't even know there was a website like that. A flagging website. So you can make out, okay, which is the lineage that they belong to. If it is a lineage that says everything is different from everything else, you don't want to study that, because you already know that. Already know, yeah, that is our capital. Division and divisiveness is our capital. I don't need to be instructed on that. I already know. What do I want? Oneness. So I look for a lineage of oneness and align with that and study with that. So better to go with the Shrotriya, because Shrotriya is, sometimes the Shrotriya is Brahmanishtha, or if not a Brahmanishtha gonna be. Yes, that's also a possibility.
Swaminiji, one more follow-up on the Karma Yoga. One of your DC talks, you mentioned Karma Yoga is finishing one's own task, like, and the example you gave is Arjuna's task is to kind of fight the war, and then, like, you go and don't escape from it, you go and finish it.
Yes.
So one question there is, how do I know what is my karma yoga in real life? Like, for example, some culture, you help your mom, you take care of it,
Yeah.
and you fight the war. In some other places, it's different. How do I kind of think about it?
Yeah, what are you facing right now? That is where what your karma is. Oh, I have an office to go to. Okay, that's your karma bhumi. That is where you have to give. And I have, I have children. Okay, you're a parent, and so that is your karma yoga. Oh, but I don't know how to parent. Learn on the job. Yes, that's what Parents don't. The child doesn't come out with an instruction booklet. This is how to hold me. This is what to do. All this, it doesn't come. The parents have to figure it out. Even if you think you're a bad parent, it's better to learn how to be the parent rather than to say, you know what, I'm just not going to parent. So therefore, we learn, and especially when something is unpleasant, then there is more opportunities for growth. Especially when there is something difficult, there is more opportunities for growth, because everything being Ishvara, difficulty is also what? Double helping of Ishvara. Yes. So if there is difficulty, that means I'm blessed. I'm getting this opportunity to grow. I look at it differently. So this is how, whatever is staring at you in the face, that is your Swadharma. That is what it is. And it's not always one thing, because people's lives are not unidimensional, it's multidimensional. So one can easily, and one does easily, perform many roles at one time. So in the office, one is an employer or an employee or both. And then at home, one may be a son or a daughter or a mother or a father or a spouse. Many, many roles one plays. And so one has to understand that even though there is no difference between the role and the person, there is a difference between the person and the role. The person who fulfills the roles is different from the role. The role relies on the person is free from the role. But if the role rolls on to the person, that is the cause of misery. Nobody is a permanent spouse. Nobody is a permanent child. Nobody is a permanent parent. No such thing. It's a role. So it's like the person, the stock example that is given is an actor who's playing the role of a begging person in a movie. And even while wearing tatters, wearing makeup of somebody who looks so morose and terrible, and he's going on begging from door to door, and they're slamming the doors in the face, he doesn't take it personally. He doesn't say, oh, he's still in character. He's still in character. He says, oh, this is the fourth door that has closed on me. All right, one foot after another foot after another food. I'm so hungry. I haven't even eaten in 3 days. The truth is, he just had a big meal before the before the shooting. But he has this expression which is very believable. And the audience are shedding tears, and he also is shedding tears in the play or the movie. He's also shedding tears without taking recourse to any glycerine drops or anything. Shedding tears. While he's shedding tears, does he become the beggar? No. He knows the bank account is increasing. No. Whether Hollywood actor, Bollywood actor, Tollywood, Sandalwood, there are so many woods. Yeah. He knows that his bank account is actually increasing. And he's kind of congratulating himself. He's saying, Shabash, congratulations to me. What? I think I'm looking at an Oscar. He may be saying that. Because this really, I just clinched this role. Actor, the mind of the beggar is the mind of the actor. The body of the beggar is the body of the actor. The whole beggar is the actor. Is actor the beggar? No. Similarly, the role is the person is not the role. And in order to understand this, I have to know who the person is. And who is the person? Satchidananda. But that's still a little bit far away to understand. So I know the person as a devotee, as a bhakta. I have to remint myself as a devotee. So then I become a devotee son, devotee first, son later. Devotee son. A devotee son is a devoted son. A devotee daughter. A devotee spouse. A devotee who happens to be a mother, who happens to be a father, a devotee who happens to be an employer or an employee. You see how it is so different now? Since I know I am a devotee and I'm connected to Ishvara, that's why without Ishvara there is no Karma Yoga. Since I know I'm connected to Ishvara, then I can have the strength to perform all the roles. Even if I perform the role badly, then I come later and clean it up. And I say, too bad, sorry about it. And I clean it up a little bit, clean myself up and, dust myself off and walk again. That's how I have the courage to start again. It's really very beautiful. Three people, you, and who else? You, and there was one more person there? No, okay.
So I struggle a little bit with the concept of dharma and adharma.
Yes.
Because, I mean, for example, someone like Vladimir Putin, which
Yeah.
is which is like not doing what he has to do, but he's doing what he has to do, like, because things are the way it is.
Yeah.
So I struggle. I live in a loop with this because
Yeah. No, it's not that he has to do what he has to do. He doesn't have to do what he has to. He doesn't have to do that at all. There is an option. That means we'll be saying Hitler had to do what he had to do. No, he didn't have to do what he did. That was unconscionable. And this is also unconscionable. Any kind of political setup which is oppressive to its own people, they don't have to do what has to do. But I understand the spirit of your question. What you're asking is that how does Ishvara allow it? Why is it being permitted in this world? We think it is being permitted, but actually it is not being permitted. We are just seeing a one small the sliver of time, a small sliver of time. 50 years is nothing. 100 years is also nothing. We just wait for things to right themselves. We pray. Prayer is very, very powerful. And against the injustices over which we have no say, we pray. That is very, very powerful. It's not that they are getting away with it, they are not. Only in the short term, they look like they're getting away with it. To me, it looks like they're getting away with it, but no, they're not. Time will tell. Because even if they escape punishment in this life, they have the karma, the karmic dues. They will never escape. That we have to understand.
I wanted, Swami, I can't pronounce your name, all of it. I want to thank you very much for your the knowledge you brought to me about why it's so painful to cry. It's just an amazing breakthrough. My question for you is, when I come back of those time here, or when I go to other Shivananda or satsang, I try to bring the satsang to the people I love. Like if they can come here, I try to bring Shivananda to them. So the question is, for those who have pain, and mainly for bad habit, strong bad habit.
Strong rabbit?
Bad habit.
Bad habit. Okay.
Sorry, my pronunciation.
Yeah, that's okay. I couldn't hear. Yeah.
Bad habit. How can I bring this knowledge so crystal clear to them? Because when I tried, or I advise them to go for therapy, I have the impression that the therapists sometimes just bring alive the story, or my stories and my stories. And how can I be helpful to bring this so amazing knowledge of objectivity and pain to them, not feeling like weird or helping them? I know they will never attend a Shivananda satsang. How can I bring Shivananda to them?
It may not be possible. Yeah, it may not. In some cases, it may. Have to be okay with that. So if I have the desire to bring Shivananda, satsang, and the way of life to other people, it's a beautiful desire. It's a very, very noble desire. And it's a desire that makes everyone want to smile. How lovely. But it may or it may not be possible. When it is possible, even in the small way, you jump for joy and you fly. And when it is not possible, you just allow it to be. That's all one can do. One can heal the desire to bring something to somebody who is not ready to accept the gift. One has to heal that. Can imagine, taking something wonderful to somebody and them saying, "Ha, I don't want it. I'm throwing it away. It feels hurtful. It feels painful. But I have to know this is not about me. Who is it about? Them. It is their loss. This is all they can do. How will you have your tea? With milk? Without milk? With caffeine? Without caffeine? With sugar? Without sugar? Sometimes that's all that is possible. And we don't have to have, sometimes we think that in order to bring about change, we have to be, what is that called? Superhuman, Superman, Superwoman, Spider-Man, Spider-Woman. Just a kind look, a smile, a hand wave. Yeah. It's enough. For that, I have to know I am enough. This is moksha. I am enough is moksha. I don't need anything else. I don't need to, if all I did for the rest of my life is sit and breathe from now on, from 1:05 p.m. to the today, whatever the day, Monday, January 15th, to the rest of my life, if all I did was sit and breathe, I am enough. This is moksha. I am enough. Because if I was not supposed to be breathing, I would go. I would not be here. But I'm here and I am breathing and I enjoy my breathing. You know what is a wonderful meditation is to breathe to the ocean waves. Very nice it is. It comes in and you breathe out, and you can just do that for hours. You don't even know where the time has gone. And then when you first, in the beginning, I was telling you, in the beginning, what happens is that you say, oh, but the ocean is breathing, breathing. The ocean is waving or whatever it's doing at a different pace than my breathing. How am I going to keep it up? It's either fast or slow. But then you let that thought go. And very soon, because everything is one, you find that the ocean breathes with you, or very soon you breathe with the ocean. Then the meditation gets deeper. Then you start seeing that when the wave comes in, all kinds of treasures come out. There are conch shells, not for long because people pick them up and take them home. There are conch shells. There are various kinds of wonderful things which the ocean just projects. And then when it goes back, it takes a few things that it thinks are not needed. This is exactly how Ishvara projects the universe and then puts forth all the names and forms. Everybody here is a beautiful shell, various colors, various designs, various things. And then when the ocean goes back, some people need to be taken away, and then they are taken away because their karma is done. This is how this becomes a whole meditation. It's just so beautiful. So when I do that, then more and more I see I am in place. In the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, there is one word, sthane. Sthane means, it's an indeclinable, sthane means all is well. All is in place. Nothing is wrong. This I can tell myself every single day. All is well. All is in place. I am well. I am in place. That's the, what should I say? We have just put a few cobblestones on the path to moksha, paving it as we go along.
I've been learning a lot from your teachings, but there's just like I can't see how everything can be blissful, particularly this one thing in my life. In the community where I live in the United States, there's this graveyard where enslaved ancestors were buried, and they moved it once. They dug up all the graves to build a lake there, and now where the graves were moved, they're trying to dig them up again to build an Amazon data center, and it's just very devastating. And I don't understand how to see the beauty or the Ananda in situations like this.
Yeah, it is difficult. It's very hard. And on the relative level, there is no Ananda there. There is injustice. There is social injustice. And one is right to be pained. One is right to be in grief. One is right to be outraged. And it is within one's right to protest this so-called relocation. I don't even know what to call it. The so-called relocation, I mean, it's a desecration. And so this so-called relocation, or whatever they are calling it, one has every right to protest this. And protest we must in whatever way we can. And when we find that our protests are falling on deaf ears, then we have an opportunity to grow. Not that everything becomes nice all of a sudden. No, it doesn't. But it is an opportunity for me to look at my ancestry and to trace my ancestry without the artifacts. That is an opportunity. Because really, when I find, see, it's very comforting to have a graveyard to go visit the ancestors. It's very comforting to have a museum to see that there is all these were jewelry worn in this particular century, etc., etc. It's very comforting to have historical documentation of everything that was there in the past, because this is how I trace my roots. And all this is correct. It's wonderful. And at the same time, when I rely on them excessively, I miss a very, very glaring fact that I am my ancestors. I walk because they could walk. My body I owe entirely to them. So my body is a reflection of them. My body and my mind, my senses, my legacy is a continuation of this legacy, of their legacy. So I invest in the here and now, right now, because whatever I have invested in that is not panning out. So I look at me. What do I need to nurture myself? What do I need to have a voice of power? What do I need to walk in my own glory? What do I need to make a difference for myself? Because the more I do this, the ancestors are very pleased. They shower blessings. They drop flowers. Because this is what they wanted to do, and they could not for many reasons. We don't know why they could not. Perhaps they were in captivity. Perhaps their voices were taken away. Perhaps they didn't have a chance to speak. Perhaps it was too scary. Perhaps it was just plain dangerous. But here I am, speaking, standing, not only for myself, but for the entire set of ancestors from whom I have come proudly. I stand, I walk, I make a difference. This is the place to go.
I don't know if I've got this right or not, but I was reading something and I still don't understand it. There's the universe, and we all seem to think that we're supposed to go and explore it and do whatever we're supposed to do. But then it said something about the universe actually comes from inside of us.
Yes.
And I'd like to, I can't quite understand it. It sounds like incredible to me.
Yeah.
And I'd like to hear more about that, please.
Tasmad va etasmad atmana akashas sambhutah आकाशाद् वायुः वायोरग्निः अग्नेरापः अद्भ्यः पृथिवी पृथिव्या ओषधयः ओषधीभ्योऽन्नम् अन्नात् पुरुषः. This is the Taittiriya Upanishad. It says from this eye has come space. From the space came the element called wind or air. From the air came water. The other way around. From the air came fire, from the fire came water, from the water came earth, from the earth came food. And from the food came this being. This body, mind, sense complex is a product of food. This is what it says. How to understand this? For this, we have to shift the I. The I has to be relocated. The I gets an eviction notice from thinking. It is, because it is the I is right now is a squatter. Yeah, it is living in this body, mind, sense complex and identifying it as its home. That is not its home. Its home is Om. Yes, H silent. Okay. And so, how to shift the I from attaching itself to everything tiny, 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 body, mind, senses, what I have, my possessions, my desires, my pains, my sorrows, this is the whole sum of me. It is not. It is not you at all. That is what we get wrong. That I is Satchidananda Atma. That means it is the source of everything. It is consciousness, it is awareness personified, and then that awareness is walked over to identify with the creator of the universe. So therefore, I projected this universe. That's the new story. A story that is full of glory, as opposed to a story that is just plain gory.
So you said before that the clamoring of Jiva projects Ishwara.
Projects the universe. Yes.
Yeah, projects the universe.
Yes.
And when you said that, it put me into a state I've been in before where no longing for objects, but it kind of goes so far that my ego pops up and says, this is death. Like you're going to let go of everything. And usually I've just gotten there from my own practice, not from people talking. And I'm wondering, because I'm sure growing in that direction is what's best, but where is the guidingness to not let that interrupt?
Yes. That's a very important question. I'm glad you asked it. Sometimes you see what keeps us alive, we think are the desires, because that is what connects me to the universe. I wake up because of desire, I sleep because of desire, I am alive because of desire. Take away desire, what is there? Zero. It's scary. And so, in the beginning, first of all, we don't have to drop all desires. That is neither needed nor is it possible. Because think about it, I have a desire to drop all desires. I have to drop all desires, I have to drop all desires, I have to drop all desires. Then I'm left with the desire to drop all desires. Then I have to work on the desire to drop all desire, and I desire to drop the desire that wants to drop the desire that wants to drop the desires. We'll be here in infinite regression. So therefore, it's not necessary to drop all desires. In fact, it's not necessary to drop any desires. Just know that sometimes the desires stand in the way of one's own growth, and those desires perhaps I can inquire into and clean them of their stubbornness. I have to have this. That stubbornness I address, not so much the desire. Desire is okay. And so, and again, in the Bhagavad Gita, we make a separation between those desires that have me and those desires which I have. Those desires which possess me, I do not go anywhere at all near them. This is how I separate myself from them. I do not go anywhere near them. Those desires that I have, I can play. How do I know? After burning my fingers a few times. Oops, I thought I had this, but it had me. It had the last laugh. Then I say, okay, no more near here. Okay, away from this. This is how we distinguish. And in fact, it's okay to have desires. So many, see, without desire, you would not be here. Without desire, the teachers would not be here. Without desire, the books on the Upanishads, the commentaries on the Upanishads would not be written. Without desire, the commentary on the Bhagavad Gita would not be written, and we would be all the more poorer for it. So it's not the desire that is wrong. It is, it boils down to, do I manage the desire, or is it in the driver's seat abducting me to a strange destination? I hope that became clear. Have a few more desires, no problem. Also look online, Niyati, if there isn't anything. Okay.
Talking about desire, this is a hard question for me to ask you. I have the desire to live old.
To grow old?
To live old. To be old enough to see my grandchild.
Okay. Tathastu. May it be true.
Yeah. So we didn't talk about death. Sometimes I'm afraid of not be old again to see my granddaughters, and there's a lot of pain in that. I don't want to be in pain now because you gave me this amazing pain is okay, and it's just like, so the question is, dying is difficult.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Yeah. Dying doesn't have to be difficult. Thankfully, I'm not in charge of it. It happens. Yeah, thank God. Yeah. Because if we were in charge of it, we would make it even more difficult. That's one thing. And the fear of death is there. That's what I think the question is about. But death is not an ending. It's just for the body. The more you identify as the Atma, the one that is the cause of the universe, that is one with Ishvara, that is everything, then you live on. You live on in everything. Even if I don't see the grandchildren, I live on in them as them. You see? And then secondly, why wait for grandchildren? Adopt a grandchild right now. See in your circles, which is a test baby. Yeah. A sweetest baby you pick, you take care of it for a few hours a day, once a week, you say, and then give it back to its parents. Here. Yeah. Be a godmother, be a grandmother right now. Don't wait. Don't wait for, they have to see, because so many things have to happen. Then the daughters have to get married, and then first they have to desire to get married in this day and age. Sometimes, that's so far away. Yes. They'll say, thanks, but no thanks, mom. I'm not getting married. Thanks, but no thanks, mom. I'm getting married, but we have decided not to have children. So many things are there. Don't wait. Don't put, don't put all the vegetables in that basket. It's a vegetarian metaphor. Don't wait. There must be very nice, sweet, cute children in the neighborhood. Yeah, exactly. And in your practice, you're having grandchildren every day. Yeah. Have a relationship with them. Adopt a few of them. Okay? Buy gifts for them. Be the most indulgent grandmother that ever was. Yes. Good luck. Yes.
I just wanted to say that there's this really great documentary on Netflix about Mark Twain. And Mark Twain had 4 children and no grandchildren. And one of his quotes was, "I'm the luckiest grandfather that there is because I get to pick my own grandchildren." And he picked certain children of his friends and had relationships with them.
Photo time? Yes.